Welcome to Chapter 1 of our bioinformatics-introduction series. In this chapter, we'll explore protein structure and biomaterials. You'll learn how to understand biomolecular shapes using two powerful resources, the Protein Data Bank, or PDB, and AlphaFold. By the end of this chapter, you'll be able to retrieve, analyze, and evaluate protein structures for biomaterial applications. Here are your learning objectives for this chapter. You'll understand the definition of bioinformatics and its applications to materials science. You'll learn to explain protein structural hierarchy from primary to quaternary structure. You'll be able to retrieve and analyze protein structures from the PDB database, read structure files using BioPython, evaluate AlphaFold 2 prediction accuracy, and explain collagen structure and its biomaterial applications. Let's start with the fundamental question. What is bioinformatics? Bioinformatics is an interdisciplinary field that analyzes biological data using computational and information sciences. As you can see in this diagram, it sits at the intersection of biology, computer science, and materials science. This convergence enables three major application areas: biomaterial design, drug delivery systems, and biosensor development. Let's explore each application domain. First, biomaterial design includes collagen artificial skin for tissue engineering, silk fiber structure optimization, pioneered by companies like Spiber, and peptide hydrogels for drug delivery. Second, drug delivery systems encompass antibody therapeutics for targeted therapy, nanoparticle carriers for cancer treatment, and liposomal formulations used in vaccines. Third, biosensor development covers glucose sensors for diabetes management, antibody biosensors like those used in COVID-19 diagnostics, and DNA chips for genetic testing. Protein structure is described at four hierarchical levels. The primary structure is simply the amino acid sequence connected by peptide bonds like glycine-proline-alanine-serine. The secondary structure refers to local folding patterns, alpha helices, which are helical structures, and beta sheets, which are planar structures connected by loops. The tertiary structure is the three-dimensional folding of the entire polypeptide chain, stabilized by hydrophobic interactions, hydrogen bonds, and disulfide bonds. Finally, the quaternary structure is the assembly of multiple subunits, like hemoglobin, which has 4 subunits. Let's look more closely at primary and secondary structures. In primary structure, amino acids are connected by peptide bonds in a linear chain. The sequence determines everything about the protein's function. Secondary structures are the first level of 3D organization. Alpha helices are right-handed coils stabilized by hydrogen bonds between amino acids 4 residues apart. Beta sheets are formed by extended strands connected side by side through hydrogen bonding, creating a planar structure. Moving to tertiary structure, this is where the protein folds into its complete 3D shape. The driving force is often the hydrophobic effect, where nonpolar amino acids cluster in the core away from water. Disulfide bonds between cysteine residues provide additional stability. Quaternary structure refers to multi-subunit complexes. Hemoglobin is a classic example with 4 subunits, 2 alpha chains and 2 beta chains, each carrying a heme group for oxygen binding. Now let's talk about the Protein Data Bank, or PDB. It's the world's largest database for publicly sharing three-dimensional structures of proteins and nucleic acids. As of 2025, there are over 230,000 registered structures. The majority, roughly 80 to 85%, come from X-ray crystallography. Cryo-electron microscopy now accounts for more than 10% and is the fastest-growing method, while NMR spectroscopy contributes a few percent. You can access PDB at rcsb.org. PDB files are text-based and contain atomic coordinates with associated information. The main sections include header for structure classification and date, title for a brief description, COMPND for compound name, source for biological species, atom records containing atomic coordinates, helix and sheet records defining secondary structure, and CONECT for bond information. Each atom record contains the atom number, atom name, residue name, chain ID, residue number, XYZ coordinates in angstroms, occupancy, B factor, and element symbol. We can read PDB files programmatically using BioPython. First, import the PDB parser class from BioPython's bio.pdb module. Initialize the parser with the quiet flag set to true to suppress warnings. Then call getStructure to load your PDB file. You can iterate through models, chains, and residues to extract information. This example shows how to count atoms in each chain. The output shows ubiquitin has one model, one chain with 76 residues, and 602 atoms total. BioPython makes it easy to work with atomic coordinates and calculate distances. You can get coordinates for any atom using getCoord, which returns x, y, z values. To calculate distances between atoms, you can simply subtract one atom from another. BioPython handles this automatically. Or you can compute it manually with NumPy's linear algebra norm function applied to the coordinate difference. The typical CACB bond distance is about 1.53 angstroms, which serves as a validation check. DSSB, which stands for Defined Secondary Structure of Proteins, is a program that assigns secondary structure to residues based on hydrogen bonding patterns. BioPython can interface with DSSB to get this information. The output includes residue number, amino acid type, secondary structure symbol, H for helix, E for extended strand, T for turn, and solvent accessible surface area. Note that DSSP must be installed separately using conda install from the Salilab channel. AlphaFold 2, developed by DeepMind and unveiled at CASB 14 in 2020, represents a revolutionary breakthrough in protein structure prediction. It won that structure prediction competition by an enormous margin. On its best targets, the backbone accuracy approaches 1 angstrom, which is atomic-level precision comparable to experiment, though accuracy still varies a great deal from protein to protein. What used to take months or years with traditional experiments can now be done in minutes to hours. This has fundamentally changed how we approach structural biology. The AlphaFold protein structure database makes over 200 million protein structures publicly available. You can access it at AlphaFold, EBI, AC, UK. The database covers proteomes from many organisms, including nearly complete coverage of the human proteome. Structures can be downloaded as PDB files or the newer CIF format. This democratizes access to structural information that would have taken decades and billions of dollars to determine experimentally. Downloading structures from AlphaFold is straightforward using Python's requests library. The URL pattern is the AlphaFold site at alphafold.ebi.ac.uk, then /files, then af- your UniProt ID, -f1- model version 4, .pdb. You just substitute the UniProt ID of the protein you are interested in. For example, P69905 is the human hemoglobin alpha chain. The function shown here handles the HTTP request, checks for errors, and saves the file locally. Always verify the download was successful before proceeding with analysis. AlphaFold provides a confidence metric called PLDDT, which stands for Predicted Local Distance Difference Test. It ranges from 0 to 100. Scores of 90 to 100 indicate very high confidence, equivalent to experimental quality structures. Scores from 70 to 90 show high confidence and are generally reliable. Between 50 and 70, confidence is lower, often in loop regions. Below 50 indicates very low confidence, typically disordered or intrinsically flexible regions. This score is crucial for knowing which parts of a prediction you can trust. We can visualize PLDDT scores along the protein sequence. In AlphaFold structures, the PLDDT score is stored in the B factor column of the PDB file. Extract the Ca atom B factor for each residue and plot against residue number. Draw horizontal lines at 90, 70, and 50 for reference. This visualization quickly reveals which regions are well predicted and which might need caution. Calculate statistics like mean, median, and the percentage of residues above the 70 threshold. Now let's apply what we've learned to a biomaterial, collagen. Collagen is the most abundant protein in mammals, forming the main component of skin, bone, and cartilage. Its distinctive feature is the triple helix structure, where 3 polypeptide chains wind around each other. The sequence follows a repeating GlyXY pattern, where X and Y are often proline or hydroxyproline. The full collagen molecule is about 300 nanometers long. Biomaterial applications include artificial skin for burn treatment, bone regeneration materials, and cosmetic injections. We can analyze collagen structure from PDB entry 1K6F, which contains a collagen-like peptide. The structure has 3 chains, A, B, and C, each with 27 residues. By extracting the Ca atom coordinates and calculating interchain distances, we confirm the triple helix geometry. The centroid-to-centroid distance between chains comes out at about 10 angstroms, consistent with a tightly wound triple helix. We can also calculate the helix pitch, which is the rise per residue along the helix axis, typically around 2.9 angstroms per residue. A key validation for collagen is confirming the GlyXY repeat pattern. Glycine must occur at every third position because it's the only amino acid small enough to fit in the center of the triple helix. By extracting the sequence and checking glycine positions, we can verify the pattern match rate. Amino acid composition analysis shows glycine and proline dominating, as expected for collagen. This sequence pattern analysis is essential for designing collagen mimetic materials. Let's summarize what we've covered in this chapter. First, bioinformatics is the intersection of biology, computer science, and materials science. Second, protein structure has 4 levels: primary sequence, secondary local structures, tertiary 3D fold, and quaternary multi-subunit assemblies. Third, the PDB database contains over 200,000 experimental structures. Fourth, AlphaFold 2 enables high-accuracy structure prediction from sequence. Fifth, collagen's triple helix structure makes it an important biomaterial for tissue engineering applications. Here are the key takeaways to remember. Protein structure determines function. This is the founding principle of structural biology. The PDB is a treasure trove of experimental structures that you should always check first. AlphaFold has revolutionized structure prediction, making structural information accessible for virtually any protein. BioPython provides powerful tools for structure analysis that integrate well with the Python ecosystem. And collagen exemplifies how understanding structure enables biomaterial design. Now it's time to practice with exercise 1, which is rated as easy difficulty. Your task is to download the PDB file for ubiquitin, ID1UBQ, count the total number of atoms, and aggregate counts for each element type: carbon, nitrogen, oxygen, and sulfur. Use each atom's element attribute to get the element symbol and Python's counter class for aggregation. This exercise reinforces PDB file handling and basic structural analysis. Exercise 2 is medium difficulty and focuses on AlphaFold PLDDT analysis. Download an AlphaFold predicted structure and identify regions of high confidence with PLDDT 90 or above and low confidence with PLDDT below 70. Extract the B factor from Ca atoms for each residue and classify them accordingly. Report the residue ranges and counts for each confidence category. This exercise helps you critically evaluate AlphaFold predictions. Exercise 3 is rated hard and involves detailed collagen triple helix analysis. Extract Ca atom coordinates from all 3 chains of PDB1, K6F, calculate the helix radius by finding the distance from the central axis to each Ca atom. Estimate the helix pitch by measuring the z-direction rise per turn. This exercise requires understanding 3D geometry and applying coordinate transformations. Here's a summary of the tools and resources we've used. BioPython version 1.81 or higher handles sequence and structure analysis. NumPy version 1.24 or higher provides numerical computation capabilities. Matplotlib version 3.7 or higher creates visualizations. The Request Library version 2.31 or higher enables data downloads. All of these ship under permissive open-source licenses that allow commercial use. Install them using pip install with a requirements txt file. Let me share some common pitfalls and their solutions. PDB parsing errors often occur due to missing atoms or format issues. Always wrap the parsing in a try and except block that catches key errors. Don't misinterpret PLDDT scores as absolute accuracy. Use application-specific thresholds. Watch out for coordinate unit confusion between angstroms and nanometers. Explicitly name variables with units. If DSSB raises a file not found error, check the installation path and use the which function from Python's shuttle module to locate the executable. In the next chapter, we'll dive into sequence analysis and machine learning. You'll learn how to use BLAST for homology sequence search, extract features from amino acid sequences, and predict protein function using machine learning models. We'll conclude with a case study on enzyme activity prediction using random forest and LightGBM. Get ready to add powerful computational tools to your bioinformatics toolkit.